G'day.
G'day. We just want to tell you a few things about what we've been doing in Parliament for the last 2 weeks.
Yep, I suppose the big thing for me was the introduction of my bill to stop forced closure of remote Aboriginal communities. It's a draft bill, so it's out there for public comment for the next month or so. And if you want to go to my website, download it, have a look at it. If you want to make comment, I really want to hear from you.
And the big thing for me was tabling the RSPCA Select Committee report. We did a minority report with about 9 recommendations, so the details again are on my website.
Yep, and then we've been asking some questions as usual, as we do in this place. You've got a few.
I asked some questions about the Green Growth Plan. That's probably the most important thing. There were submissions due. Congratulations to everyone who got a submission in. We were trying to get details on how much net loss of bushland we were going to have. And I also asked questions about that sound cannon.
Oh yeah, and she actually talked with the minister too. That was fun.
I talked with the minister afterwards, so we're still waiting on a question, but I think we'll get a good fulsome answer to that. Robin, what did you ask about?
Look, I've been really focusing on my pet love, I suppose, and that's the burrup. We found out that Yarra International, a fertiliser plant and an explosives plant, have been leaking huge amounts of ammonia, 14 tonnes in a 2-hour period, and then lots of CO2, lots of methane. It's an ongoing process. We'll be doing some media, most probably tomorrow, beginning of next week, but we still got a lot more questions to ask when we come back after the break.
I guess to be complete, the other questions I asked were about solar panels on public housing, the Shark Drum Line program, the stakeholder engagement into the Perth Freight Link, and the support for a Royal Commission into the abuse of people with disabilities. Yep,
and so a lot of things been going on. We had a rally outside today, which Lynn spoke at.
Yeah, and accepted petitions for the March Against Monsanto again. That's a really important ask for a Royal Commission into the use of pesticides and the use of genetically modified materials. That bill to lift the gate on the GMO-Free Crops Area Act is being debated. Darren West did 8 hours, so he set the bar high. I'll be speaking on it when we come back.
Yeah, and we tabled our report into the mining amendment legislation, which I gave some minority recommendations, some which will be actually supported by the small mining sector, interesting enough, but really highlighting the point that the mines department shouldn't be in control of managing the environment, which is what they're trying to do.
And speaking of managing the environment, the review into the EPA was tabled, and we got a briefing ahead of time. Obviously, we want to see the results of that review implemented as soon as possible. And finally, for my part of it anyway, I gave the first of the Greens budget speeches. So I dealt with half of the Barnett government budget and focused on inequality and the impact on vulnerable West Australians, but also touched, of course, on transport and issues like housing and the science and innovation investment. Also talked about tourism. I talked it for a while, so there's a lot in that speech, and I'm looking forward to hearing Robin's contribution.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm looking at the budget in more general terms, in fiscal aspects. $4 billion of debt this year, $40 billion in deficit, and not a good look by anybody's standards. And quite clearly there's nothing in there to do with climate change. But anyway, we'll feed you more on that when we come back next time.
Great to be here yet again, and we look forward to giving our next report. Anybody's interested in further details, email either one of us.
Oh, just one thing from both of us. Don't forget, we've got estimates coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you want to have a look at the budget, boring, but if you want to have a look at the budget, get back to us with any questions you want us to put into estimates for you.
And it's not boring if it's affecting you or the agency you work for. You may well be aware of more detail. So by all means, flick us an email at any time, confidentially, and we'll pop in some questions for you and find out exactly. And sometimes it's not finding out detail, it's highlighting the problems in the budget.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Goodbye.